A, we are talking about the volume of a prism. Like I said before, part of this you have seen before. Does anyone know a volume formula?
Height times space. Times the width.
Right, length times width times height, I feel like is what a lot of people typically see this as. L times W times H. Does that sound familiar to you? If it does, then you've done this before. If it doesn't, I still think you've done it before and you just are forgetting that you've done it because you have seen volume in some way, shape, or form. What is volume?
That's the space inside
It's the space inside. How much something
Right. So volume is the space that a figure occupies. So it's like the inside, right? It's if you had a cylinder and you poured water into it, the amount of water you could put into that vase or whatever is the volume that cylinder can hold, okay? Today we're just talking prisms though, so we're not even going into cylinders yet. We'll do that tomorrow. Do you know what volume is measured or is labeled as? Cubic, right? So it'll be like feet cubed or inches cubed or yards cubed, okay? So you're always cubing because it's the length times the width times the height. It's three-dimensional, right?
Why is it cubed if it's like a sphere?
We're doing
What?
prisms today.
I know, but isn't a volume in a sphere cube? Yeah.
Oh, you're saying, I get what you're saying. Like a cube, but it's a sphere. Okay. I thought you were asking a legit, like,
No, I know.
it's cubed because it's three-dimensional, right? Length times width times height. So inches times inches times inches is inches cubed, right? So it's not inches cubed. It's the three dimensions.
Wait. What's the first dimension? If there's three dimensions.
I don't know, this way or this way, the length,
What's the second dimension?
the width, the height. I don't think it matters the order you do your dimensions in. No, we're not going there. Okay, guys, this is 2.5 minutes of me recording that people that are absent have to listen to now. You're welcome. Okay, what we're going to talk about first. Shh, come back to me. There is this guy, his last name was Cavalieri. I can't even remember his first name right now. But he came up with this idea, Cavalieri's principle.
That's it.
Um,
I was thinking of a joke.
So Cavalieri's principle says this: if two space figures, so two three-dimensional figures, have the same height and the same cross-sectional area. So if I took a cross-section out of 3 figures, 4 figures, however many figures we have, and the area of each of those cross-sections was the same, and they have the same height, then they will have the same volume, okay? And I'm going to show you a picture. It's in your book. It's 1640 or 1641. I can't remember which one, but let me just pull this picture up real quick. Okay, so here's what the picture looks like. It does not matter if one is a right prism and one is an oblique, right? The one in the middle there is oblique, it's kind of tilted. As long as the area of their cross-section, so this would be a cross-section, this is a cross-section, and this triangle is a cross-section, right? As long as the area of the cross-section, or you could say the area of the base would be an appropriate cross-section to use, and the height of the figure is the same, they will all have the same volume. So because all of these have an area of 6, and this height is the same as this height, which is the same as this height. So all their heights are the same, and all their areas of a cross-section are the same. Their volumes will be the same, Okay, that's Cavaliere's principle. We don't do a ton with that, but I want you just to see it so that you understand how that works. What you're going to be using a lot is the volume formula for a prism. So this is the prism volume formula. Oh, apparently my pen didn't want to write. It says this, okay, V equals BH. What is a capital B? What of the base? The area of the base, right? So just like what we did with surface area of a prism, you had 2B. It's that same B, okay? So if you're finding lateral area, surface area, and volume, the beautiful thing about it is once you found the lateral area and the surface area, you already found the H, and you already found the B. You're literally just multiplying them together now to find the volume of the figure, okay? So yes, you probably have seen this before as length times width times height. That works if it is a rectangular prism, but if it's any other type of prism, you have to use this formula, okay? The area of the base times the height. So I would avoid this if I were you, unless you can keep straight that you may only use it if it's a prism, okay? Or a rectangular prism. So we're gonna use that formula, BH, with 3 different figures, and then we're done. Example 1 here. Let's say we have a rectangular prism. So this is 12 millimeters, 5 millimeters. I didn't draw this to scale, sorry, and 6 millimeters. So if this is our figure, I should have just switched this. Sorry, doesn't look right. We are doing volume equals B times H. Now here's the thing. In a figure like this, there's a lot of sides. Either any side could be used as your base, okay? I feel like most of the time people want to use the bottom as their base, so that's what I'm going to use, but that doesn't mean that's the only way you could do it, okay? But for now, we're going to use this rectangle as our base. What would capital B be? 60, right? It's the base times the height, or 12 times 5 is your B, right? That's the area of your base, 12 times 5, so 60. What's H? 6. H would be 6. So you are doing 12 times 5 times 6. So in this case, length times width times height works, right? When you plug that in, 12 times 5 times 6 is 360, and it's volume now. How do we label volume? Cubed. So it would be millimeters cubed. Okay, so that figure is as basic as they come. That's, you just take the 3 numbers and you multiply them together. Where it gets a little fancier is if you have something like this. Let's say you have a triangular prism where this is 8 inches, this is 15 inches, and then the height is 22. Oh. Okay, and I warned you about this before the break, but it's been a week, so I'm going to warn you again. I called this what type of prism? Triangular. So what shape is your base? A triangle, okay? It is very tempting on a problem like this to use this as your base because people think base and they think bottom, okay? That is not your base. So don't use the rectangle as your base. It is a triangular prism. So your base is a triangle, okay? Make sure that you use the triangle as your capital B. So if we're doing, this is a prism, which is using the formula BH, I'm trying to find the area of my base. And we said the base is a triangle. So how do you find the area of that triangle? 1/2 base times height. So really what you're doing here is 1/2 BH times H. And here's the confusing part of it. This H and this H are not the same thing. Okay? This capital B is your triangle. So we're doing the height of the triangle. This one is the whole prism. So we're doing the height of the prism. Okay? So just be careful with that when you lay it out, that you have the right heights in the right places. Okay, so if this is the case, the area of our base, our capital B, is going to be 1/2 times what times what?
8 times 15.
8 and 15, right? If it's a right triangle, your base and your height are the two forming that right angle. So 8 and 15. So that means my capital B right now is, what does that come out to? What is it? 60. Oh, yeah, 60. Good. So the area of our base is 60 square inches. Okay? That's going to go here then, 60 times, what's H? 22. Okay, that height is the height of the prism, or the distance between your two bases. So that's 22. So you're doing 60 times 22, which is 1,320, and its volume, so cubic inches. Okay? Technically, this doesn't have to be 60. You could leave it as 1/2 times 8 times 15 times 22 and just plug all that straight into your calculator, and that would be just fine. Okay? Questions on that? Okay. Last one. Can you name that figure for me? It is another triangular prism, right? So your base is a triangle. Notice it's not a right triangle anymore. So we have to find the area of that triangle. I'm just going to redraw your base for you real quick so we can kind of mark it up as we go. What kind of triangle is it? It's equilateral, where all of these are 8. Okay, so if all the sides are 8, if it's equilateral, what are all its angles? 60. Okay, so that means this is 60 and this is 60. But if I want to find the area of this triangle, I need a height. So if I draw my height in, right, there's the height of my triangle, which makes that what kind of triangle?
30, 60, 90.
A 30, 60, 90. Okay, so in a 30, 60, 90, this piece right here would be 4. So what is your height? That is 4 rad 3, right? This is your L, this is your 2L, this is your L rad 3. So my height right now will be 4 rad 3. Okay? Coming back? I know it's been a week. I love radicals. I was born in the 80s, you know. Everything was radical. Okay, so here's what you're doing. If we are doing the volume is the area of the base times the height, we need to find the area of that triangle. So area of that triangle is going to be 1/2 times the base times the height. What are your base and height of that triangle? 8 is the base.
It's 4.
height is 4 rad 3, right? So that's, this whole thing is B. What is this H?
10.
That is 10. If you look back at the original figure, the height of the figure is the distance between the two bases. So you're multiplying that by 10. Okay? That's everything. You just have to simplify it. So when you go to simplify this, just plug everything in but the radical, because you're multiplying it all. You can multiply in any order you want, as many numbers as you want. So you're going to go 1/2 times 8 times 4 times 10. Okay? So half of 8 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 10 is 160. Okay? And then you're just going to attach the rad 3, and it would be inches cubed. So if they say give an exact answer or simplest radical, that would be your answer. If they said to the nearest 10th, you would just plug the rad 3 in, which would be 277.1 cubic inches. Okay, so both of those are acceptable answers. It's just a matter of what did they ask for. If they said nearest 10th, that's the bottom, right? This is nearest 10th. If they said simplest radical, it should look like that. Okay? Questions on that? All right. That's volume of a prism.